Good morning. The theme for today's service is crossing thresholds and going through the doorways of life. It is an enormous honour and a delight to be with you this morning, leading worship for a Unitarian church and people who have such a special place in my heart and in Mike's heart. When Mike and I entered these doors back, I think it was 2017, we crossed a threshold that would change our lives. Here was such a warm welcome, such love, somewhere we could speak of the many names to describe God, all of which pointed multi-directionally to a universal love. Here, our questions themselves were answers. To be here in person many times and then often on Zoom was simply wonderful. Indeed, from the threshold of my open heart to the threshold of yours, you are so welcome here, whoever you are, wherever you are in your journey of life, however you are, just as you are. That is simply and always enough. And I'm going to ask Elizabeth to come up and light our chalice. And just before she does that, just to break some news to you that, well, you can continue your journey up, that there is some sad news this morning. Our lovely friend from here, Cliff Mills, died yesterday morning. And so we're going to be holding him and his family in our love and our thoughts as they cross one of life's most difficult thresholds. We light our chalice flame this morning as a symbol of our interconnected, free religious faith. Across the globe, candles and chalices are being lit as worldwide emblems of unquenchable cosmic love, symbolizing that we are part of a loving, faithful community, limited not by doors, nor walls, nor sky, nor sea, as we remember the recent submarine tragedy, not restricted by county boundaries, nor contained by country frontiers, as we also hold in our love the increasing problems in Russia. May this delicate, vulnerable flame that casts shadowy shapes remind us that the spirit of the ground of all being burns within each of us fragile, shadowy beings, and it will never be quenched. May it illumine the doorways and thresholds we need to pass through as we glimpse by its gentle light the life paths we must take, and we will hold in its light and our love, as we said, our dear friend, Cliff. May it be so. Our opening prayer, Spirit of the open door and the wide horizon, who journeys beside us as we cross life's thresholds, who holds us tenderly when we falter on the step. Through your gentle love, may we be inspired to dream dreams. May we have the courage to understand and to see those things which create any stifling fear in our lives. That together, when the time is right, together we might bravely open those doors and cross the threshold to the way of love, justice, equality, and inclusion. And we're going to sing our first hymn from the Purple Book, and the words will be on the screen. Open the door, step right inside. I invite Linda to come up and read our first reading, A Legend. It's the legend of the Gate of the Gods. The native peoples of Lake Titicaca and the surrounding region in Peru have ancient legends about a mysterious doorway that led to the land of the gods. Millennia ago, heroes were witnessed entering the beyond through this door to join their deities once their time on this earth had come to an end. And other great men did the same, their gods beside them to check in on the lives of those they'd left behind. In 1996, Jose Mamani, a local tour guide out hiking, came upon such a place and was overcome with recognition. He had seen this very gateway before in his dreams. For years, a pink marble gateway with a smaller inset door from which emanated a mysterious blue light had presented itself to him while he slept. The gateway was carved from the rock face, standing 7 meters high by 7 meters wide, with smaller door inset at the base. In the center of the smaller door was a circular depression. And here is the mysterious legend. An Inca priest of the Temple of the Seven Rays, named Amaru Ramu, had to flee for his life when a group of Spanish pillaging pirates arrived to plunder everything for themselves. The priest snatched up a precious golden disc known as the Key of the Gods of the Seven Rays and fled into the mountains. There he came across the Gateway of the Gods, which was being watchfully guarded by shaman priests. One of the shamans, possibly in desperation for the fleeing priest's life or for protection of his own people from the pirates, noticed that the golden disc would fit perfectly into the moulded depression within the smaller door. He inserted it, and all gazed in awe as the portal opened. Pale blue light bathed the reddened rocks as it yawned wide. Lest the golden key be lost, Amaru Ramu took hold of it and stepped through the gateway, never to be seen again. Once Mamani recognized the portal from the dreams, he contacted local archaeological experts, and within hours the site was crawling with Inca historians and scientists who were familiar with the legends swirling about the area. However, the gate appeared to be carved as one structure from the rock,
with no gap that would suggest any visible door. According to some of the research party, by placing their hands on the door, they could feel subtle energy pulsing from the inside. Some heard strange rhythmic music. Others claimed they saw visions of columns of fire and things beyond this world. However, what struck the scientists most was that the massive doorway bore a striking resemblance to another structure claimed to have cosmic capabilities, the Gate of the Sun in Bolivia. 5 other archaeological points, all connected to a grid-like pattern whose lines intersected exactly where the plateau and Lake Titicaca happened to be. The majority of these sites remain vastly unexplained by modern science, and perhaps that's a large part of the allure. Whether alien portals to alternate universes, passages through which gods can reappear and humans can disappear, or simply an ancient structure designed for rituals and worship, these strange formations continue to intrigue us thousands of years later. Could they actually be portals to other dimensions, doorways known as stargates, through which humans, as well as gods, pass to and from this world to the next? Who knows? But as the poet William Blake wrote, in the universe there are things that are known and things that are unknown, and in between them there are doors.
Thank you, Linda. We're going to join together now in a short guided meditation that will be followed by some gentle music. I invite you to sit comfortably, which most of you have already shuffled and done. It's lovely to hear it. If you can, have both feet on the floor, grounding yourself. And let's begin by taking a deep breath together. In now. Hold for a moment and slowly let that breath out. As controlled and steady as you can, gentle and quiet. Welcome. You might like to count up to 4 as you breathe in. Hold for a couple of counts. Exhale for 6, maybe even 8. Count at your own speed, but it's just useful that the out breath is longer than the in breath. If you like, close your eyes, but continue that breathing. Notice that cool air enters your body through your nose or mouth, but warmed air leaves you. Notice any movement in your body, in your chest or your tummy, perhaps your back or your ribs. Maybe you feel a little movement against the back of your chair or the seat. As you breathe, bring to mind, in any form you like, an open door. Any shape, any size, any colour. The door is either in front of you or beside you. Let's take a step towards that door, the open door, and there, through it, we can see that image of our blue planet, as if from space. Our planet, in its beauty and its pain, as its nurturing climate changes, as more species are lost, forests are destroyed, countries and their diverse inhabitants threatened by rising sea levels or toxic gases, destabilizing the temperature. Take a step across the threshold, so that you're drawing nearer and can more closely see fellow humans who are suffering because of climate change, hunger, homelessness, pain or injustice, injury to body, mind and spirit because of war, human greed or abuse of power. See if you can imagine yourself joining hands and minds with many others from many faiths. You are all seeking and working to save our planet and its species. Hold those you see and each other in love, light, hope, and compassion. Check in on your breath and your movement, and step even closer now towards our planet, so close that you can see those you personally know who are crossing difficult thresholds in life, ill health, tragedy, death, the family of Cliff, those facing challenging decisions, death, and maybe including yourself. You can hold them in light and love, hope and compassion. You continuing with your breath, and yet another doorway has appeared in front of you. This opens into your inner self. Maybe you can step through. Maybe you'd just like to look. Consider the many thresholds you've crossed during your life, decisions and changes you have made. Reflect on those that resulted in good outcomes, those that didn't. Breathe compassion into these memories. Perhaps for those that you are able to, breathe gratitude. Offer compassion and forgiveness for any regrets you hold. Note that all these experiences have created the person you are today. Hold yourself and your memories in love and light, hope and compassion. Maintaining your breathing in that steady way. Step further across from the door. The doorway is now behind you. Consider who you are today, how you are, how you feel, whether there might be changes you'd like to make or not. Either way, each is always enough, simply enough. Hold yourself and others you know, the bits of yourself you love, the bits you're not keen on, decisions you must take in the future. Hold it all in light, love, hope, and compassion. Let us allow a divine love to hold our vulnerable human hearts, infusing us and our fellow sacred humans and our planet and its species. As we now gently return to this room, this seat, this now, where we are all enough. We're going to listen to a lovely song, The Blue Boat Home.
Low below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun my sail and moon my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
First sang and heard that beautiful, beautiful song. And David is going to come up and read our second reading.
This is called The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning is a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still treat each guest honorably, He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from the beyond.
And that was by Rumi, medieval Sufi mystic and poet. And we're going to sing again from the Purple Book, and the words will be on the screen, but it's 167. There is a place I call my own. Alexander Graham Bell, inventor of the telephone, where would we be without that, said, when one door closes, another opens, but often we look so long at the closed door, we do not see the one that has been opened for us. And sometimes we must just bide our time in a space between closed doors, because it is the waiting in between that has so much to teach us. But it can be so hard. A while back, inside St Albans Abbey Cathedral in Hertfordshire, I was rendered speechless. That's quite unusual for me. Speechless by a pair of doors, no longer in action as entrance and exit, but safely preserved for our admiration. These huge, ornately carved doors dated from 1470, and they were seriously studded, holding the double panels of oak together, and keeping those seeking sanctuary safe and the attackers at bay. I found myself wondering, which date must the acorn have fallen, germinated, and grown so slowly to produce that mighty oak, the seed which grew the tree that made the door? Talking of church doors, I'm very pleased that Reverend George Hughes in 1662, rebel vicar of St Andrews, just up the road, my sense of direction is never very good, he decided to cross thresholds between church doors and theologies to sow seeds for what became Plymouth Unitarianism. Many more doors opened and closed until the Plymouth Blitz totally destroyed the Treville Street Unitarian building. And I learnt this morning that Treville Street is no longer there either. However, that meant that in 1958, this lovely venue could be opened. Many births, many deaths, many rites of passage, many changes and challenges, much sorrow and much joy must have been encountered along the way during those 400 plus years, all shared amongst those who were seeking increasingly the free religious faith that we enjoy here today. Doors and doorways and thresholds do feature considerably in world faiths. Islam has 8 doors to heaven. Hinduism has the 5 doors to the heart and 10 doors to the body. I'll leave you to imagine those. Sikh temples have doors of peace, livelihood, learning, and the door of grace. That's 4 doors, and they symbolise 4 people from all 4 points of the compass and the 4 castes, an equal welcome. In doorways in many Jewish houses hangs a mezuzah, a parchment scroll inside a small box on which the Shema prayer is written. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And there's a very famous painting, I believe it's called The Light of the World, but it's by Holman Hunt and shows Christ with a lantern in front of a door. Behold, I stand at the door and knock, says Christ. But there's no door handle on the outside. Divine love is only found from within. And again from Rumi, who I love very much. Why do you stay in prison when the door is so wide open? The entrance door to the sanctuary is inside you. Thomas Merton, monk and author, wrote of a door to end all doors, but it's a somewhat illusionary door. When you've asked for a list of all doors, this door is not on it. When sought, this door fades. It recedes. When you look for it, this door diminishes. It's neither this world nor another. Well, it certainly seems there's no life navigation map available. No directions, no compass, but across the globe there are doors opening towards honouring and celebrating diversity and equality and justice for all. Sadly, in some places, these doors are not only remaining locked, but they're padlocked, reinforced. There are some very terrifying laws in Uganda against being in same-sex relationships, and even laws for those who know people and don't report them in such relationships. I hope so very much that humanity is still evolving and that this will continue to change. There has been so much change in the last 50, 60 years. Homosexuality was illegal, so was suicide. There is so much that is new and so many new words and terms to understand. And maybe it's partly these relatively new landscapes that cause the pendulum of change to swing bizarrely. Responses to new ideas, new doors opening, can become extreme for a while. Reactions take on a heavy cloak of fear. New means loss. There are new thresholds for religions, new reflections on race, culture, skin colour. But we already know that every person's skin tone differs across their body. The palms of our feet and the soles, the palms of our feet, the palms of our hands and the soles of our feet are always paler. Many continue to open new doors onto wider spectrums of ability. We no longer use some dreadful terms. Mongol, cripple, handicapped, deformed, lunatic. And we no longer lock precious people away. We say wheelchair user, mobility aid user, people who live with a learning disability, people who live with dementia, live with depression, live with diabetes, rather than being labelled that you're a diabetic, an epileptic, you are one of the demented. This new term, neurodiversity, the wide range of neurodiversity has been with us for centuries, but this door is now opened onto the knowledge that our brains all develop very differently and that people do experience and interact with the world around them in many different ways. Neurodiversity includes dyslexia, dyscalculia, trouble with words and numbers, dyspraxia. In the old days, people would be called thick, clumsy. It includes people of differing sexuality. It includes a wide wealth of people who have often been thought, you are just different, but it's because of neurodiversity. Sometimes it even seems we can collectively experience strange thresholds, as if we've all fallen down a rabbit hole to the bizarre world of Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. When awful local traumas happen, natural or climate change disasters, famine, war, those lockdowns. Traumatic thresholds, by their very nature, have little or no measured approach, no gradual, gentle incline or slope, no alarm bells, no retreat, no heading for the exits. Life may be changed in an instant. For some of us, there comes a burden of loss that weighs too heavily for us to live that altered existence. Some of us step onto the lintel of a doorway and back again endlessly. And in those times, we are not alone. Standing with us are our friends and our faith. Faith in the goodness of evolving humanity. Faith in the cosmic love of the source of all being. Faith in the divine spark which is in every cell of creation. Faith in our togetherness, and faith in the resurgent strength of nature and the ever-turning wheel of the seasons and the year, and faith in the diversity of Unitarianism. I suppose in some ways we are entering the same door over and over again, the doorway of this present moment. It's a continual going into the eternal now. And we can do that together. Maybe this is our lifetime's calling. Locking, unlocking, opening, closing, abiding with others in theirs and our hesitating, our stopping and our hurting. While, as Jeff Lucas, a spiritual writer, describes, while we follow the soft invitation to our heart to step across that threshold where waits the discovery of so much more. And we're going to sing a beautiful hymn, hymn number 110. Now we sing to praise God's blessing all through our lives. And of course, we are able to have in our minds that the name of God has many, many names and understandings.
Creation.
a blessing all through our lives. And this is a blessing from John O'Donoghue. May a flock of colours, indigo, red, green and azure blue, come to awaken you in a meadow of delight. May there come across the waters a path of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. May the protection of the ancestors be yours as you cross life's thresholds. And may a slow wind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind your life.